Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our July DIY. My name is Beth, and I am so happy to be with all of you here this evening. Now, we've done DIY a little differently over the course of this summer. Last month, for the month of June, we did a faux succulent terrarium, and I did that and hosted that from our very own meeting room at Willard Library downtown. So to change it up, we thought we'd bring you out to the Helen Warner branch. And the spot I'm at here is actually back behind the branch building, behind our little storage and maintenance shed. It's a great area with a lot of sun, which is what we actually need for this straw bale garden that we're going to do. Now, the way we're gonna do this tonight is by the time you see this, we will have planted the bale, and I'm gonna give you weekly updates all at the end of this video. So you just stay tuned for the whole thing, because I'll talk to you about how I prepped it to get it ready, because you don't just throw it in the yard and go, and then how we plant, and then you can see the progress so you can map out whether it's something you would have interest in or not. I thought the straw bale garden was a pretty cute idea. Not everyone wants to maintain a large flower bed. Not everyone likes to garden necessarily or has the space. We've done container gardening at our house, and I do enjoy that. I love the colored pots and all the pretty. But this is an alternative. If you have an apartment, you could even put this on a patio or a balcony if you put a little tarp or something under it. So very feasible, doesn't take a lot of space, but to do it, you do have to prep your bale. So the first thing you do is you go and you buy your straw bale. It's important you don't get hay. Hay could have a lot of other seeds. You could end up with a whole weedy situation here, and you don't want that at all. So straw is your friend. And then you're gonna fertilize it. So I bought this at Lowe's. It's just a Stay Green fertilizer. It doesn't have any weed control in it because you don't want any weed control. That could impact your ability to grow. And then the really important thing down here is 2905. You want the highest number here that you can get. That 29 indicates the amount of nitrogen. Nitrogen is really important because it's going to get down into this straw bale and start to break it down or compost it, which makes it really healthy, yummy stuff for your plants. So on day 1, day 3, and day 5, we put 2 cups of fertilizer, and I just sprinkled it on the top. And then I used my hose with the spray attachment and lightly misted it until I could see it was starting to go down into the bale. Then I hit it a little bit more with the hose, put that soaker hose on, let it go for about a half hour. So you're gonna fertilize and water days 1, 3, and 5. Now, day 2, 4, and 6, I only watered it. So I watered it a little longer. I turned that soaker hose on, let it go for a good hour or so. It's a nice steady soaking, right? That's why they call it that. So it's a nice steady saturation of the bale. You need to get all of that fertilizer and everything down in there. Starting at day 7, I put a little less fertilizer on, half of a cup, watered it thoroughly. So day 1, 3, 5, 1 cup, half hour watering. Day 2, 4, 6, big time water, turn it on and walk away. And then day 7 through 13, half a cup and a little bit of water. Day 14, we added bone meal. So on day 14, I did 3 cups of bone meal. The bone meal is gonna give us the potassium we want, which is really healthy for all your plants. And then you just water it. So after you've watered it on day 14, after that bone meal goes in, you're good to go, you're ready to plant. Something else I did at the very beginning was I got deer and rabbit repellent. Many of you fight with animals in your yard trying to plant things and not have them eat them. And I didn't want anything harmful, for the animals, but I did want to encourage them to stay away. I don't normally like to use a lot of sprays, but I am out here at the Helen Warner Branch. We have this beautiful wooded area behind us. And one of the best things about working at the branch is you get to share this space with nature. It's not unheard of for us to see rabbits and deer floating around at all times of the day and evening as we're leaving or having lunch. So we do need a deterrent. Now, a friend of mine said to take Irish Spring soap, use your potato peeler or maybe a grater, and cover the area. So we might try that too, just a little extra safety, because we're getting ready to plant, and deer love plants, right? So let's plant. I grabbed a little hand rake from home and a hand trowel, and I've got my trusty gloves, and I'm gonna grab this camera and move it forward and tilt it down a little bit so you can see what we're doing. It is super easy to plant these, but because I do tend to use my hands a lot to get in there and dig, I like to use some gloves. You don't necessarily have to, but it doesn't hurt anything. So let's tilt this down. Okay, so here we go. So I went to Lowe's yesterday and got all these little plants for about $20. I always go to the markdown area because usually they just need a little love, a little deadheading, a little watering. And I wanted an array of colors. So let me put this here for now. I got some begonias. They're nonstop. They have that double blossom. I love those. I love when they're full and double like that in this bright red. So we've got the bright red begonias. I got this super bright yellow orangey zinnia pack, and these don't look so good, but I'm gonna deadhead them and plunk them in there and see what we get. Sweet potato vine. I bought 3 of these, and it looks like something has been eating off of them, which is okay, but on these that are a little crispy, I'm just gonna pinch those right off and get rid of them, and that will make your plant kind of have a little bit of a rebirth. A lot of times when there's something wrong with a leaf, it gets damaged, or the stem, it will turn brown, and that is the plant's way of trying to save itself. It's nourishing these roots and the parts that are still viable. So it will take care of itself. It's hard to pinch these off with gloves. It will try and do that self-preservation thing. So that's why it's important to deadhead. It will make that plant kind of rebound and get a second wind. So we'll do that when we plant these. So I have 2 sweet potato vines. I think I might have said 3. I would be wrong. And then I love these little vinca vines, the little trailers. I like how they kind of come off and hang down. And I love the color purple. So I had to plunk some purple in there. And again, we see some blooms that are spent here, and we'll pop those off as we go. And this is my little travel tray. I put all my gardening junk in here, and I keep this in the back of my car for most of the summer because I never know when inspiration will strike. So I'm gonna slide this off and show you how we just dig in. I haven't really thought out placement, so I'm just gonna wing it as I go. Let me get my little stool out of the way. I'm gonna use my garden rake to get going, to get started. I'm gonna come to the other side so there's no shadow over the bale. Might work a little bit. Oh yeah, that is better. Okay, as you can see, I got it in here, and I'm just gonna twist it a little bit. It's just to get it started. And as I pull this up, you know that earthy smell when you are gardening or planting something? I can totally smell that. Grab these guys and pull them around. Gonna get in here and dig. Wedge out a little area, and then I'm just gonna pull it up and loose. Now the beauty of these is I don't have to put a whole lot of thought when I'm plunking them in. Squeeze the bottom. I'm gonna pop off the bottom part, Loosen these roots. And plunk that guy right back in there. I think it's important to let you know too that when you lay your straw bale down, it's best if you lay it on its side so the ends of the straw are sticking out. Ours, when we put it down, we honestly had such a hard time determining what's the side, what's the top, that eventually we gave up and thought, we'll just leave it here and see what happens. Any of this straw that doesn't fit back in the hole, obviously not all of it will because you're replacing it with soil and a plant. Any of this that doesn't work, I will end up tucking in around the plants. I'm just trying to get it a little deeper here. See if you can see that. So I'm just trying to get that hole in there a little deeper so that my whole begonia will go in. Popping it out, breaking off the bottom. These guys were not root bound at all. They were underwatered. And then take some of this straw and tuck it down in. I don't like straight lines on anything. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm working around, can you see that string? I'm kind of working around that. That is getting in my way. So I have to maneuver around. Turn it. I should listen to my own advice. Put it in there and turn. Okay, got a nice hole going here. Let's get this third begonia. Plunk it in. I can hardly see it, it's so bright and sunny. I'm not mad at it though. Plunking it in, and off we go. And although I tend not to be a great planner, I'm gonna set this stuff aside so I can use it as I need. I am gonna give a little thought to what do I want where? And I think I'm gonna do my purple here in the middle in a group of 3 again. Maybe my zinnias over here, some of the sweet potato vine, and then I'm even gonna dare to plant some seeds. So let me get going on this and I'll show you my progress. Okay, so it took a few minutes, but we got it all planted. We've got our begonias in here. I'm gonna pop off a couple little dead leaves. Just pinch them off as close to the plant as you can get. Deadhead this spent bloom and this first set of leaves using my thumb nail. Oh, that's a strong one. And popping that off. You can set it right on top because that's just nitrogen going back into the plant. You can pitch it off to the side. I do tend to throw a lot of my spent blooms right back in, but for the visual, it's kind of nice if you can see just the greenery. And then we have our sweet little vinca. So I know it doesn't look like much now, but in a week or two, given plenty of sunshine, which we've got, plenty of water, which so far it's been raining quite a bit, but if not, we can help it out and supplement. It's going to grow into something really beautiful. And I tried to pick plants that were very different in color, not only the blooms, but the things that don't bloom, so our greens are different. It's really eye-catching that way. I always appreciate that, so that's what I did here. But I also want you to know that another thing you can do is plant some seeds. So one of my favorite little plants is alyssum. I just think it's such a pretty little sweet flower, It's low growing. The seeds are absolutely tiny. And even though it's allegedly an annual, I have some that are perennial. I bought seeds at the dollar store and they just keep coming back year after year. I'm literally going to sprinkle this in here just to see what we get. The funny thing to me is at home, I started a section of our yard that's just wildflowers, and I sowed those seeds and then of course covered them with straw so the birds wouldn't get them. And here I've sown the seeds, and for whatever reason I feel like I maybe need to sprinkle a little bit of soil, and I'm literally just going to sprinkle it on just to make sure nothing gets carried away. I'm just going to pat that gently. Take my glovies off. Normally I like to water first thing in the morning, last thing of the day. I don't like the plants themselves to get super wet because they will burn, just like people can burn. So I'm gonna get down really close to the root. And I planted those in a tight cluster of 3. My sweet potato vine, my vinca, our little zinnias here. And last but not least, a little quencher for those begonias, and I'm gonna lightly water my seeds. So we're gonna come out every week and check our progress. I'll grab my camera, we'll head out here, we'll take a look. What do we like? What do we not like? Is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down? I can tell you for a fact the one I have at home is just beautiful. I did a lot of similar colors. My begonias are the hot pink. I have yellow Gerbera daisies, super hard to get to rebloom, so I'm really saturating them with lots of fertilizer. I have some sweet potato vines, some coleus, on, and always something purple in there because I do adore purple. The thing is, you can do whatever you like, whatever you want. These are a great vegetable garden if you're into growing your own food. And you know, everyone always thinks, oh, tomatoes, you could do lettuce, you could do strawberries, you can do carrots, you can do potatoes. We have tons of books on gardening, obviously at the library, but we also do have quite a few things to offer you in the way of straw bale gardening. And the resources online are innumerable. So come get the books, come check them out, see what works for you. Do you want something pretty or do you want something practical? And there is room for both in your life. I just like pretty things. So that's where we're at for today. So stay tuned and we'll be right back with our next clip and show you our progress on week 1. Hey everyone, so here we are, week 1. We have had a ton of rain, just an absolute ton. The vinca vine is coming on really nicely here. It's about 1/3 of the size larger. Our sweet potato vine is still looking a little bedraggled. We still have some of these leaves here. I should probably deadhead again because of that rain. Get a few of these old guys out of here. So let's deadhead. I have some petunia blooms that are a little bit spent. I'm gonna throw those out, pinch those off. I'm gonna tuck them right in here so we get some of that nitrogen and that other yummy stuff right back down into our plant. Oh, looks like a little toadstool. But all in all, I am not terribly disappointed here. The zinnias are about twice the size that they were. This is 3-4 plants. You know, I like to plant in 3s, but I think I had a 4th or 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, okay, so I can't count. 5 plants, but they've just about doubled in size. If we look at it from the top, they're getting much, much better. But look what happened to our begonias over here. We have 1, 2, beautiful, love the red. Oh, and look, someone or something really liked this begonia. So I came back out and I sprayed, because the spray says do it once, do it a week after, and then a month after that. But you know, all that rain we've had. So our straw bale, as you can tell, has gotten a little bit more condensed. I feel like it's a little shorter than it was. All that water and yummy stuff saturating in there. But I think this is really gonna come on. I haven't noticed yet if any of our seeds have grown anything, and that might be because they washed away in all that rain, or maybe they're getting ready to pop, who's to say. So anyway, that's where we're at. This is week 1 after the planting, and the plants themselves, although the blooms are a little spent, and this is in full sun all day, the plants themselves are coming along nicely. So stay tuned and I'll be right back with your week 2 improvements. Good morning everyone, and welcome to my last little video recap for DIY for July. So as you recall, we did the DIY straw bale garden, which I thought was a fantastic idea. And I still think it's a fantastic idea. The one I did at home is super cute and luscious and full and blooming like crazy. The one I did here at the library, not so much. And I know I could have cheated and I could have took y'all back home with me and done my last update of the one I did at home. But I wanted you to see that sometimes in life things don't go as we plan. I certainly never planned to do a DIY, which is all about making your house a home. I never planned to do it here at the Helen Warner branch, but I embraced the challenge. I was skeptical, and as it turns out, I'm literally always right about these things because it's kind of an epic fail. I don't know, maybe epic's too strong a word, but I really don't think so. A straw bale garden is a wonderful thing, and it can be great. You could grow your own food. You can do your tomatoes and cucumbers. I've seen videos on YouTube and posts on Pinterest where people did even pumpkins and that sort of thing. You can literally make it anything you want. Ooh, strawberries, that would be fantastic. I did all plants that flower, no food-bearing plants, and like I said, at home, super cute. Quite a little addition to my little meadow that I have put in and the different gardens. Here at the Helen Warner branch, I sprayed around the area and I did everything I could to keep the animals out, and yet they did not stay away. As we've discovered, deer love begonias. Love them so much. They ate all of the double non-stop blooming begonias that I had here. They went to town a little bit on the sweet potato vine, actually a bit on the sweet potato vine. Went at my petunias a little bit and but devastated the vinca here. So I'm gonna angle the camera down so you can get a quick little look at it and see just how badly we failed. So DIY, do it yourself, but do me a favor. Try this at home. Don't try this at work because it just doesn't work. So here's what we ended up with. Look, they are not happy. I mean, these are doing okay, right? Sweet little blooms. The plants actually look pretty healthy now, although I'm missing one. I had one right here and it's gone by the wayside. The vinca is much greener and healthier than it was. If you're on your phone, you can zoom in. It was more a little yellowed, a little tired. And remember, I got all of these on the clearance rack at Lowe's, which is not why they look the way they do. They look the way they do because we're fighting the animals in the neighborhood, and we're also fighting the elements. What a horrible summer. We have had every major weather situation except snow. So we've had all the rain, which has just actually decimated this straw bale. It's really shrunken down. It's helped it to compost a lot. We've had tons and tons of heat. So those great fluctuations haven't helped us out. And yet our zinnias are doing really well. I got a new shoot that came up because I planted them here. So it's actually moving along. So some plants did better than others. Some of you might have done better than others. I did better at home than I did at work. So all in all, Work DIY, epic fail. Home DIY, I'm gonna count it as a win because it is pretty. And at the end of the day, we take something away from this, right? What not to do or how to do it better. And I'm still gonna take this bale, I'm gonna grab my husband, grab a tarp, have him wrap it up and haul it home for me, and I'm gonna add it to my composter. So next year, it'll be a nice addition to my garden at home, but we will not try to do a DIY, and definitely not a DIY garden situation here at the branch. Probably ever again. So that's it for our July DIY. We are taking a break for the month of August, and then we'll be right back this fall. I have lots of ideas coming your way, coming my way, coming our way, and I can't even tell you what they all are because my ADD is popping today, but I will tell you it's lots of fun. We're gonna get back to some power tools. You know we're gonna paint something, and I'm always gonna have my hot glue gun at the ready. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and an even better tomorrow, and I'll see you in September.